Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to today's deck profile. I have my 5th place prank kid deck profile. It's just a prank, guys. It's just a prank. Also, Hanko went 8-0 with prank kid, so we have, I think, 2 prank kids in top 16, right? Top 16 is out of 350 people, the biggest Yugioh Remoto Extravaganza we have up to date. This is my 3 for 3 top 16 Extravaganza deck profile, so I'm really happy to do that. But eventually, one day, I'll win the qualifiers to make it to the Invitational. But until then, I'll settle for this. So, guys, first of all, I want to do a few shout-outs before I get started with the deck profile. First, shout out to Gabe Susi, or Gabriel Susi, also known as Gabe Yugioh. I'll have his information in the description box below. He was kind of like the person who got me, looking into Prank Kids. He said Prank Kids was a really good deck. And, I didn't take his word as face value until I tried it and tested myself. And I wholeheartedly agree now that the deck is very strong. And that's why I decided to play it. Second, shout out to Nesh. He tested with me, I think, the last time for the qualifier. Stayed up with me till like 5 in the morning. So huge shouts to him. And then, of course, shout out to Gunther for just being creamy. But, and of course, like my Team Luxury Gaming and all that good stuff. All right. So, and now we're gonna get started with the deck profile. So, and the matchups. I think it'll make more sense to start with the matchups first. So, let me pull that up for you. So, for my matchups, I played round 1 against Doll Invoked. I 2-0 with that matchup. I think it was like pretty like free. Once I knew he was playing, like I just played around Shadow Fusion. I had Ash like game 2 for Shadow Fusion, and then I gammed his Alistair. So I mean, just 2-0'd. There's not really much to say. Like the matchup is like pretty like even. I would say it's pretty split. When you go first, like I never prioritized Butler. I just prioritized Washer for follow up killing them. Like so that's like was the main reason. So I mean the matchup was pretty even. I drew hand traps. They were effective, and that's pretty much it. Against Winda, Dark Ruler is a hell of a card. So that's all I gotta say. Next, round 2, I play against Numron, OTK. Yeah, man, I just lost that matchup. He just drew Duster, Kaiju, Numron Network. What else? Like, I don't even know. Like, Call by the Grave. I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, I can't beat that. Like, it is what it is. Lightning Storm, game 3. It is what it is. So, I went 1-2. I won the first game, actually, even though, because I was at 10k life points, because I resolved Dropsies twice, and so I was able to survive his, like, onslaught of, like, Numon monsters, and then game 2 and 3, the rest was history, right? Like, I mean, Memories of Hope, Numon Network, Duster, like, just the same cards over and over. Like, I just couldn't beat it. Round 3, I played against Dragon Link, against John Wilkin, actually, a really good friend. It was really close. Game 1, it was like I didn't open that well. I opened up 0 names, but I was able to draw a name and double IDP put in work. And then by game 3, I top decked Desires into a name. And I played around. So basically, I played around Nibiru on my opponent's turn. So I played around Nibiru going first, and then I played around Nibiru again on my opponent's turn, right? Because if you're already playing around Nibiru, you don't want to just stop playing around it. So I played around it, and I almost got punished for it. He rebooted Levy me, because I saw him his Levy summon, and then he rebooted me, and then he popped my IDP and popped my prank name, and then yeah, there was nothing I can do there. But I top deck Desires into a Roxy's, and that pretty much solidified the game. And then round 4, I played another Dragon Link player, and I 1 RPS again. I went first, but I opened up 3 plays, 1 driver, 1 dropsies, and I just lost. Game 2, I went first. Tikabooed. There can only be Ash, Lancia. I just opened crack. I drew off Desires. I drew off Roxy's, and then I drew off at end phase. So I just kept drawing cards, and I just opened crazy. And then game 3, I opened up very well. I opened up Gamma Ash, and that was enough to stop his turn. And then he ashed me on my following turn. And then I was able to IDP him, stop his turn, and then it went back to my turn, and I just won. So that's pretty much it. And then he had a crazy comeback, but he made a small misplay because he didn't bounce my Meow Meow because because I had a set Pandemonium, so or because he knew I had a Pandemonium, so I just like played around his the bounce card, and then I just was able to OTK him. Very tough game. So double Dragon Link there. Round 5, I played Bird Up. I just 2-0 the matchup. I went first, and I Ash Lancia him with full combo, so GG. I also drew 2 cards with Pranks and Roxy's because I opened Instant Fusion. I just went in, and then the second game I just opened Lancia and no, I opened Thanos, and that was my only hand trap. Thanos driver, but then I Thanos him. I drew into a Nibiru and a Pandemonium, and I put back the driver. And then after that, I just nibbed him and just lost. I just had to play through a Judgment, and then yeah, I mean, normal summon got Judgment, activate Pandemonium, GG's, because it was at 4K. So 2-0 that matchup round 5, and then round 6 I played against Inferno Dogma. Game 1 he Decatroned me. And then he activated that thing that lets him shut off fusion, and I just got OTK. I basically just lost. I got outgrinded. Game 2, I forgot what happened, to be honest, but it was very close. And then game 3, it was like towards the end of we had like I think around 8 minutes left for game 3, but he made me go first, and I just full comboed him, gained like 10k life points, and then he was at 7. And then he opened up like crazy with like Decatron, Ecclesia, the Shadow Fusion S cards, but I just like counterplayed all of it, and then yep, I pretty much won that match. So 2-1 there, and then round 7 I played against Shadal Invoked against DS, a member of I guess Duelist Academy, and he also went to the Extravaganza last time. So he played Shadal Invoked. Basically game 1 I asked his desires and he just bricked. Game 2 I lost to Winda. Game 3 I had Cosmic and IDP, Ash and Lancia. So yeah, GG's. And then round 8 I played against Dinos, and I 2-0 that matchup. He made me go first. I Tikabooed him with Ash as a backup and IDP, and then game 2 I IDP'd him. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So overall, I played 2 Dragon Link, 2 Shadal Invoked, 1 Dinos, 1 Bird Up, so 6 meta decks that we expected, and then the 2 Rogue decks were 1 Numeron and 1 Inferno Dogma. So 75% of it was meta, 25% was Rogue. I think I did really well. One of my losses was to 1 Rogue, and that was pretty much it. So I think overall, it was a really good match. I had a really good time playing against these decks, and yeah. Now we're going to be going into the deck profile. So for the main deck, I played 3 Fancies. This is my favorite Prank Kid main deck monster. I absolutely love this card. It can dump you any Prank Kid names and then summon. This burns, obviously. This gains, and then 2 Roxy's. I style this card out every time. I hate this dude. Like, to be honest, I'm sorry, Roxy's. Like, but I hate you. Like, I side this card out every time because I'd rather have Place going second than the second Roxy's. And yeah, this card just sucks half the time. Like, sometimes I would top deck it with no cards in hand, and then I'm just like, wow, I can't banish anything from my hand. I guess I just lose, which did happen. So yeah. For hand traps, I played triple Ash, triple Nib, triple Lancia, triple Gamma Driver. So 12 hand traps. I would have to say that Ash was broken all day. Lancia was broken all day. Gamma was broken all day. And then Nib was like mediocre. It only came up against the Dragon Link, the Bird Up deck one time. If I would change anything, it would have to be Nibiru. Like, I didn't like this hand trap, but it was like the best hand trap paired with other hand traps. But this one was like mediocre at best. I didn't really like it. Like, I don't know. I side this card out a lot. Usually for like Cosmics or something else. Little brother. I mean, Roxy's is kind of nice because he does give me like some of the craziest draws. So I do appreciate Roxy's every now and then. Dino Wrestler Pranker Tops. So this card was insane in the main deck. I like this card a lot. Because the logic is basically if you get Gammaed, which is like the most common hand trap that everyone's running universally, going first, you can make this card live, and then going second, this card is just like insane, right? So there's not much really to say about it. It's just too powerful of a card not to play. I only drew it once going second. But when I did, it really mattered. 3 Prank Kids plays. Just an amazing field spell. It has 3 effects. There's not much to say. There's only one time where I drew 3 of this, but it was alright. 3 Pandemonium. Not much to say. You're playing Desire, so you have to play 3. We play 14 prank kid names because it has, I think, an 87% chance to open 1 and a 50% chance to open 2 in a 43 card list. So that's why you have to play 14 names. 3 Pandemonium because we play Desires. 2 Pranks because of Desires. I usually side one of this out, especially against like the winded decks and stuff. But yep. Instant Fusion, every time I drew this card, I won the game. It doesn't matter when, but when I draw this card, I win. I only drew it once the entire tournament, which was very sad. But when I did, I just auto won. I think like this card is just way too crazy. Like there's not much to say. There's one time where I drew it twice, but that game I won without it, so like it just didn't matter. This 3 Desires. I love this card. Draw 2 is like usually insane. There's only 2 times where it was bad, where like I drew like a pot Desires. I mean I drew Desires and Driver, and then the other time was I banished 3 Pandemonium, but I still won even when I desired and banished 3 Pandemonium because I just link time and killed my opponent. So I know, weird. I won without using a fusion spell actually off Desires, but the draw 2 was just like so worth it. I love this card. Like every time I open up no names and open like 4 disruption cards, like this card just like fixed my hand. And no one ever ashes. This is like the best ash bait, but no one ever ashes this. Like the thing is like the Desires, no one ever ashes this. So for some reason this always resolved because they want to hold ash for my prank kid name. But the thing is like drawing 2 is just like so broken where I don't know. Like I feel like I would ash this, but all my opponents didn't ash my Desires. They ashed my prank kid all day. So I don't know. Yeah, these are French, so yeah, French cards, insane. We played 3 IDP and 3 Tikaboo. Every time I drew these cards, I won. It's just, I don't know, like every matchup I drew IDP or Tikaboo, I won the match. They're just like the best trap cards. This is the best trap card in the game right now, and this is just the best trap card for this deck, or it just has good synergy. IDP is just very versatile. There's some cool interactions where you can like basically like like I got nibbed, and then there's one time where I went for a game shot doing something like this. I made Meow Meow. I summoned back my opponent's monster, then banished my Meow Meow and my opponent's nib, and then my token was so big I just attacked your game. So there's some really cool interactions. I really like this card. And this card against like Shadow Invoke decks are just like really broken. Against Dragon Link, just broken. Against Bird Up, just broken. Against like every deck was broken except the one time I drew it against Inferno Dogma. I wanted to like throw this card away, but yeah. And then there can only be one. There's not much to say. Good against Dragon Link, good against like Bird, good against Numeron, like good against everything. I sided out against Shadow Invoked actually, because if they're a decent player, they usually play around it or like they can play through it. So it's like fine, but I sided this card out against the Shadow Invoked. So 43 cards in the main deck. Not much to say. I think the list main deck is pretty much solved. It was like perfect for me. I have nothing I wish I changed except for Nibru. For extra deck, for fusions, 1 Weather Washer, 1 Rocket Ride, 1 Butler. All these cards were insane. Again, against the Dawn Invoke player, I made this, and I attacked, and he couldn't trigger Alistair because he said it. This effect applies to all Pranked monsters that attack. So I was able to like stop all his floating effects with this. So like it's just so crazy. I really like it. Because your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step, which means like if you attack into like for example I don't know, like a Winda, because it goes down to 1700 and this goes to 25 with the field spell, they don't actually get to activate Winda to add back Shadow Fusion or anything like that. It's really, really strong. So that's it. Just 3 of these. You don't need more. If you play correct, you just recycle these with pranks. You don't need to play 2 Rocket Ride. You don't need to play double Butler. Like you don't need to play double Washer. Like just play correct and you just recycle these. It's just fine. 1 Krapalike, French Toad. Love this guy. I love this guy. I actually against the Infernoid Dogma player, I got Infernoid Tierra, and I sent Toad, Butler, and I sent the link for Roaring Roaster. So I'm like, yo, add back Ash, Butler, summon back a card, and then Toad add back a water to hand. It was just so broken. So yeah, really, really like these cards. And then for the links, generic ones, I'll start with those first. Access Code, Unicorn, Nightmare, Phoenix. These are like the best link climb cards. I love the utility of them. They help me OTK my opponent. They help me play through back row, especially because I go Weather Washer, summon back cards, and I just start cracking the board, drawing cards, popping cards. Like, it's just really strong. I really like the utility of these. Not much more to say. And then for the Prank Kid links, I played one Roaster. I never made this card at all, but in theory, it came up once against the Dogma invoke deck because he was playing like he was playing Dragoon, and by making this, I make his Dragoon lose 500 attack to like beat over it. And because Dragoon negating stuff in the grave doesn't make it gain 500, so that's why this card came up. Bow Wow Bark is amazing, but just 1 is fine. 3 do. This card is amazing for the grind. Having 3 is like necessary. And then 3 Meow Meow. Not much to say. Like the best link in your deck. Just free resources, free pluses. Like just so good. It's exactly what the deck needed to compete at the high level. That's pretty much it for that. Like I said, nothing I would change about the extra deck. The only flex spot is maybe the Link 4, but I've been personally liking it, so it's okay. I like only made it once, but the one time it did came up, it was really nice. 3 Phantasme, 3 Dark Ruler. Mainly this was for Dragon Link, but it was also good against like every matchup. Like even against like the Alistair matchup, like drawing cards is really nice, and fixing your hand is really nice. So I really like Phantasme as a hand trap. And then Dark Ruler because the math isn't like amazing, but basically you can draw Dark Ruler and Phantasme, and then these 2 cards cracks the entire Dragon Link board because you can Dark Ruler them, and then they can't target you with Tiding because of Phantasme, so you just like crack the entire Dragon Link board and win. But I really like both of these. I never drew Dark Ruler actually against Winded decks, but in theory, if I did, it would be amazing. So these were the only time I sided in against the Winded decks and the Dragon Link decks. I also sided against Bird Up, but I just like. I mean, like, I just kind of won with just this and Nibru. And then we have 2 Lightning Storm, 1 Harpy Feather Duster. These cards are just for the back row matchups. I wanted to respect the back row matchups just because I don't have amazing back row removal in the main deck. But the deck and just, like, the Prank Kid deck is kind of like a zoo deck. It just, every time you normal summon a zoo, you just eat a back row. So, like, it's kind of like the same concept, but like it's like fine. Like I can grind against trap decks because every time you normal summon, it's like a lot of pressure for your opponent. So you just keep like pressuring them. So, but I mean, post side, I wanted to have back row removal. Then I played 3 Cosmic Cyclone, mainly for the Shadal matchup, for the Prank Kid mirror, in case I thought people might be on it. For Numerons, for like even against like Bird Up, it's not even that bad. Not birds. I'm sorry, not Bird Up. I'm talking about dinos. It's not the worst because you can stop Lost World. I like the card. I didn't play against enough trap decks, but I think the versatility of Cosmic is really nice. I really enjoyed it. And then the last 3 cards were Solemn Judgment. This card makes sure that you can't your Panemon resolves, your back row is safe. A combo deck, like it's like a mid range deck with Solemn Judgment. Like it's just like really oppressive. This card was like insane for me. Every time I drew it, like I felt so safe. And that sense of security is like really nice. So that's pretty much it for the side deck. I don't think I would change anything. Every card I had in my side was like, I was like really happy with. So I wouldn't really change much except maybe put in Ghost Ogres for Numeron because that deck's insane. Because they draw crack. But other than that, like I think it was pretty sick. Nothing else. Yeah, so I got 5th place overall, guys, out of 350 people. Really happy with how it performed. Really happy with the deck. I think this deck is, from a difficulty level, like, I would say pretty high. It's, like, really easy. It's really easy, like, turn 1 to do the combo and, like, memorize the sequences and all that stuff. But I think the skill of this deck really comes into, like, the turn 2s and 3s. And that's what I really like about this deck. It's such a different, unique deck for me. And I highly encourage you guys to pick it up, give it a try as well. You don't need to like finesse play, like cheat your opponent, slow play. You can just play normally and just win with the deck just because the deck is good, and that's why I really like this deck. So yeah, overall I really enjoy this, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, guys, if you enjoyed content like this. And don't forget to check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/PAK/_official_TCG, where you can find me playing decks that I do well with live. I usually test these decks in events, and I do it all on stream, so you can learn from it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.